Welcome back, everybody, to Healing You. We are with Gloria Lybecker, our beautiful host, and I am your co-host, Anna Levin. Today, we are talking about youth, and I am very, very excited about this because it's semi-related to the other show that we had about parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And youth is, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a kind of like a misunderstood stage in our lives, right?
Well, it seems to me that a lot of people get nervous around teenagers. They're not quite sure what to do with them or how to respond to them. And I think that they're really lovely people, and they're very unique too. But they really like to be taken seriously. They're really experimenting with making choices.
Yes.
And through their own development, they're in this place where they have no fear because they haven't developed all of their prefrontal cortex, and they believe they can fly sometimes.
Yes, which is dangerous sometimes.
Yeah, so how important is it then to stay relational with your child, regardless of how they're old they are and what their age is or what their music taste is or what games they like to play?
Yes.
And you keep your curiosity glasses on and look through life through your child's eyes and empathize with them and really meet them where they are.
Yes.
So that relationship stays intact, so
Yes.
that they have a safe haven that they know they can always return to.
Yes. I think being a parent of teenagers is really the possibility and the opportunity to really learn how to love because, right?
Yeah.
Because love is something that should happen, unconditional love should happen regardless of what they do or what they like to listen to or their choices. And so for me, I mean, I have a 16 and a 15-year-old. Even my daughter, the 15-year-old, said to me, "Mom, if parents are not really interested in what we do you think we're going to come and talk to them?"
Right.
So
Yeah.
because I listen to their music, not listen, but in the car, I let them be. I go a little bit into their world because I want them to know that they can trust me, and then we can have conversations that are important to have.
Yeah.
So
So you want to be able to stay in relationship, like you said. That's really important. But when you understand what's happening developmentally, it can really help to shift. Well, it helps to shift my perspective when I know that because they're going through that reconstruction of their prefrontal cortex, that if I have a neutral face or I say something and I think I've said it in a neutral tone of voice, they are going to be more sensitive and more prone to actually think that I am being hostile or aggressive. And because
this is because of their brain development.
It's because it's reconstructing. So they aren't able to connect different areas in their brain as easily as they go through that phase. It's kind of like pruning. The things that haven't been used will get pruned away, and then they have stronger pathways for where they are using them. So again, how important is it to be having a relationship and conversations that are meaning making? So those are the pathways that really grow strong. Yes. To have the warmth and the resonance and to really have the experience of mattering.
Yes, I think sometimes absolutely. I think sometimes as parents, what gets us is that teenagers can be very emotional and irrational also. And so then you're like, oh my gosh, they blew it out of proportion. I am a bad parent. And so it's a whole snowball of things going on.
Yeah, so when you develop the resonant language, you're able to slow it down first and foremost and really get out of the storyboard, because it's really not about the story. It's really about the experience that's happening inside of them. So they're really needing to feel felt and to know that you understand them. And when you take the time to listen and reflect what you're hearing to make sure you're catching it, right, then they will really feel heard. With younger kids, I would want to use the words they say, because if you don't, then they don't think you heard them. And with older youth, you just do your best and be honest. And they will sense that you're being authentic, and that'll make a difference too.
Yes, that's the one thing as an ex-high school teacher. you can't fool them. Teenagers, they are sensitive. They'll feel you. So,
Yeah. And if I'm trying to fool them, what am I doing?
right.
I'm not being authentic. I'm obviously caught up in one of my own strategies of what I think I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
And what I really want to encourage parents and teenagers to be able to do is to be their authentic self and to trust their body's wisdom, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And yeah.
Can you tell us about those pre-rehearsals and post-rehearsals that we were talking before?
Yeah, I love them. So a pre-rehearsal is really effective. It's when you know you're going to be going somewhere and maybe you've not been there before, and maybe the kid hasn't ever been there and they're nervous about it. So what you do is you kind of role play, or role be is what I call it. And so you kind of imagine what it's going to be like and what you're going to look at. So like at Christmas time, if you have a younger child and you want to go window shopping, you might actually talk about what's window shopping. Well, that's where we go and we look at everything and we see what we like and we make a list of what we think other people would like, but we don't buy anything. And then you have them reflect it back and then you kind of play with it. And so that's preparing to go somewhere where you haven't been. Or if you're going to be going somewhere, maybe you're going to go to a new event and there's going to be a lot of people there and people that you haven't met. So you're going to go to a concert. Well, when you go to the concert, there's going to be really loud noises and really different lighting, and there's going to be a lot of different people. It's really diverse. You won't know for sure how diverse it's going to be till you get there. And so you talk it through and then also answer any questions that they might have. And that prepares them to imagine what it's going to look like.
Right. And so then they're not as anxious about it.
And I always deepen it down to actually name what are the values or the needs. What are we needing to know that we have access to when we go there? Like, I want to feel confident. I want to feel secure. I want to really have fun. You know, what are the things that, so they can name those things that actually supports their nervous system to know what to look for when they get there.
I love that. And that
I want to make new friends, you know, so they can have this real positive affect instead of the withdrawal. They can have the forward.
Yes, yes. And that would work with any age or any age.
Yeah. Well, it helps me sometimes.
Yes.
When I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to go do a show with Anna. What do I want to talk about? Well, then to remember, what am I passionate about? Yes. And then I can show up and be myself. Yes. I can't get it wrong.
Yes. I think, and such a gift to actually teach children and teenagers to do that, because it's a skill and a tool that you can use for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I remember I had my daughter during my wedding day. I had my daughter remind me, I had 3 words that I reminded her to tell me throughout the day if she didn't see me. I wanted to feel loved, peaceful, and calm. So she would come and whisper in my ear, love, peaceful, and calm. When she would see me, you know, like I was in the hairdresser and I was like, you know, she would see me a little bit like that. And she's like, Mom, peaceful and calm, love, peaceful. And it works. It works. It brings you back, because like what you're saying, your central nervous system is listening, right? So
it is. Yeah. And where you focus your attention, your energy follows. Yeah. So I love that you had the support of your daughter to help you stay really congruent with what your heart's desire was.
It was, I can tell you, Gloria, one of the most effective days as far as like what I wanted to feel in achieving that. You know, and a wedding, we all know, is a very stressful day, emotional day. It's very common for people not to be present, because that's what happens when we are anxious or nervous or not even clear, like you were saying, not even clear on what we want to experience. So I think the intention and fostering that is super powerful.
Yeah. So then the post-rehearsal is maybe you've gone somewhere and you've done something and there was a rupture that happened. You know, you just didn't like the way that happened or worked out. What you can do is you can go back in time, and that's where I was calling it like a rewind. And when my son was younger, we would actually walk backwards to go back out of the room and do, you can make it fun. Yeah. And when you do it with a group of kids, you can reinvent the whole thing, and they have a different experience in community too. And so whatever their setup was, you actually rewind it, and then you come in and now you just do something different. and you see what happens. And it kind of resets that nervous system again
Mhm.
by opening new possibilities, because in any moment of time, there's a zillion opportunities. Which one are you going to choose?
Yeah.
And so it can open it up, and you don't have to believe that it's always going to be that way.
Yes. I love that. I think children are very open.
Yes, they love to explore things like that. They're high creative. If we can slow down and ask them. Another way of doing the post-rehearsal is we've talked about feelings and needs cards, I think, in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And those are really, you can get those through, there's Grok cards, Grok. They're a really great resource to have on hand. And they also make ones for younger kids that have pictures of the emotions and the needs. But you can take the cards and you can lay them out. You can ask the teenager, and this is super effective, to look through the deck and see what feelings are up for you right now. How are you feeling? And they'll just lay out the ones that they resonate with. And then you take time to be with whatever those emotions are and acknowledge them. And then you give them the other deck of the needs or values and say, what is that connected to? And then they lay those out. And you just see this enormous shift that happens in them when they get to sink into that, and you're with them in it with warmth and resonance. If you do it in a group, you can change it up slightly by giving all the kids the different cards. And then when one names what their experience was, the other kids all make guesses. They lay out the cards they think they might feel. And you watch the child's body, and they learn how to recognize the body language. Because when you hit the mark, when you touch right on it, their shoulders drop, they take a deep breath, their face softens, and they really feel the experience of I matter and
Yeah.
I make sense.
Yes, I think this is such a great point, because I think another thing that I observed as far as adults and parents are concerned towards their children is that not being able to realize or help the kid know their own feelings,
Yeah,
because the
right,
kids don't know. Sometimes we adults don't know, right?
right.
But the kids really don't have the tools to know, like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like what you were asking your grandson, the 2-year-old that
Mm-hmm.
right was putting your supplements back. You took the time to say, like, okay, what is it? And then he told you, I just want to be a big boy and help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have no idea. And he would have stayed with that anger and frustration,
Mm-hmm.
and not being heard by his Grammy, right? So
Right. Yeah. It was a huge lesson that I learned right there. I mean, and they're very young. Um, Another fun thing you can do, and this isn't with teens, but teens could love to do it, is if you learn a few little sign language things. It's a way of communicating. So teens are really, really good, like when they like to come out maybe and do an equine experiential learning and getting to learn how the horses communicate. So there's lots of communication things that they can learn in relationship with other animals and in community with one another. It's
that's
really fun.
beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. You do so much, Gloria. You're so like broad. I mean, there's so much of you. I feel like, in each episode, I get to know another layer of you, but, which is, I think your magic is the same for everybody. But I love how
Mm.
you can touch on, young people and teenagers and adults and parents and trauma in people. I mean, I love it. I just love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Yes.
One of the things with teens that they struggle with a lot is peer pressure. And so it's really important to have safe containers where they know that they can be heard and not made wrong, but to be empowered to take action. There's a lot of bullying that happens in the world and causes a lot of harm. So what to do differently or how to be with them so that they can become resilient.
Yes, yes, I love it. And I know that you offer parenting courses online on your website. Are they people can purchase your parenting
Yes.
courses?
Yeah, there's some parenting courses that are online that can support them to learn even from themselves learn how to be empowered from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're always looking externally for our answers, we're always looking outside of ourselves. But when we can begin to recognize that we have all the resources we need inside, and when we learn how to treat ourselves with kindness, being in relationships with others is easy.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's such an important work, to help us parents to become better parents and to get to know ourselves more so that we can help our children better also, which is what we want.
Yeah, we want to be able to just have it be easy, don't we?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Or at least worth it. That's what we want.
Yeah.
We want to do a good job. So how can people find out about you?
Oh, well, you can go to healingyouShow.com, and there you'll find lots of resources available. And you can also click on there's a button on there where you can schedule a free session with me to make sure that it's a good fit, or we can explore what kind of options are you looking for.
Yes, I think there's so much to you, so that I would encourage people to take you up on that offer, because you just never know. And the work that you do, I feel like you can really, you go into each person and you customize for the person, and you really,
Absolutely.
get in touch with what they need. And I love that about you.
Yeah.
So
It's always different.
yes, yes, I love it. I love it. But yeah, so this was amazing. I think we cover all the bases about youth, or at least some of the most important ones. We can talk about hours, right? For
We
hours.
could. I could. I know I could.
Is there something that you want to leave the audience with, as far as like a message, or something
Mm.
something else that you wanted to say about this?
Well, one thing that I've noticed as I reflect back on my own parenting experiences is to take the time to reflect back on your life and notice where you might be projecting your experience onto your child, and untangle those to really be able to see your child for the uniqueness that they bring into the world.
Beautiful. So notice if you're projecting, if it's your own stuff,
Yeah.
or if you really are looking objectively at your child. Beautiful.
Yeah. Keep your curiosity glasses really handy,
Yes.
as they really do support.
Gloria, thank you so very much. I enjoy us talking, and I cannot wait for the next episode.
It'll be fun. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Okay.